Porch Talks aren't just a podcast, they're a part of our lives. We carry them with us wherever we go. These are the honest late night talks with friends who know all of our hearts and still won't leave us. These are the tearful moments of reconciliation with beloved parents whom we've hurt or have hurt us. These are the moments in relationship where we're confused about exactly where we stand with Jesus. These are the bouts of frustration and hurt and mistrust that we harbor when we talk about the beautiful love of God. These are the Porch Talks, and they're ours. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Andy. These are the Porch Talks. I want to talk to you guys today about the flood. So God is looking over the world, and this is after He's already created it and said it was good. He has given man companionship. He's given man someone to live with, and He said, this is the created and intended purpose in which you were supposed to live in context of relationship with other people and in context of relationship with me. This is where you belong. And sin has already distorted everything. It has corrupted everything. So God looks upon the earth and He sees that every action and intention of man's heart is only evil continually. Things get bad. Things get really bad. And right now, man is on this path. They're walking this straight line that is only evil continually. In other words, man is currently walking a path. Mankind as a whole is walking a path that will never again intersect with God. And God is grieved. And I don't know what it looks like for God to be grieved. And I don't necessarily even understand what it means for God to be sorry about something that He's done. I don't understand. But it paints this picture of man being this machine that can only pump out corrupt pottery. Everything that man does is broken, and he's aiming it that way. The intentions and actions and thoughts of his heart are only evil continually. And God looks and says, it's broken. This freedom that I've given them, what I've created for them to have, it's all broken. And so when it says God is grieved, the origin of that word in the Hebrew kind of talks about God being carved. God is being carved up by the ones that He created, by the people that are supposed to be His people. God is hurt. And I don't understand what it looks like for God to be hurt. I used to have this picture like God doesn't get hurt. He's fine. He's God. He's this cold, calculated God who's just standing up there and making all the right decisions as this hardened general, and that's not the picture being painted here. The picture being painted here is God being sorry that He made man and grieved to His heart. And this word sorry paints this picture of being short of breath, groaning, filled with regret, just hurting over what man has become. And He had so much for us, and we took that freedom and we went the complete opposite direction. And that is what our nature is defined by. So this world is broken, and it is broken in a direction that it is never coming back. I lost my dad to cancer the other day, and I remember being in the hospital, and I was in there with my dad's brother, my uncle, and he was saying goodbye, and he looked at me and he said, this isn't the way the world is supposed to be. This wasn't how it was supposed to be, and I know that he is right. And I know that the same hurt and the same pain that was expressed in that hospital room is the same pain that God is feeling there. And so if man is corrupt and God is grieving, and man is in the spot where we will never again come in contact with Him, where we will never be with Him again, not in the way that we were meant to. We were created to be in relationship with Him. We were meant to multiply His image, and sin just distorts and corrupts and ruins all of that. And I'll say again, I don't understand what it means for a perfect God to be sorry about something that He's done. But I know that if God is going to be sorry about something that He's done, I know that I don't want this cold, calculated God in the sky looking down and making calls aside from emotion. I want Him to be able to feel it, and that is what I see in that scripture. I see a God who knows my pain. I see a God who knows my loss and knows my heart. I see a God that loves me. So God says, I'm sorry I made man, and then He says, I have to blow it up. I have to blot it out. Because as man stands right now, I will never ever again be able to be in fellowship with him. I will never be able to be in relationship with him, and that is the only context in which man is supposed to exist, is in relationship with me. So he blows it up. And when he blows it up, it's tragic. It's awful. It's ugly. And I don't have to speak for God. That's not even my part. But I can only interpret God's actions and circumstances through who I know him to be. I'm not going to interpret his actions outside of my relationship with him, because that doesn't make sense. So I know Jesus to be loving to me and kind, and he came for me and he rescued me and he's setting me free and he's taking me out of my bitterness and out of my hate and out of my frustration and out of my selfishness. He's taking me out of those things and into freedom. And I have to believe that that same God is showing those same characteristics when he blows the world up and says we got to start over. And God is looking at them and he's saying, these are my children and they're never coming back. I have to do something because they're never coming back. Except for one family. There's one family that God saves. There's one family that he preserves. There's one family that's good. Noah. Noah is the only one on record that's right. Noah is the only one on record that is not evil and corrupt continually. And the only difference noted in Scripture is that Noah walked with God. That's the only thing it says. That's the only thing that made Noah different from everybody else, is that Noah walked with God. It's not trying harder for Noah. It's not just who he was. He's not the teacher's pet. He doesn't do anything special. He isn't made of anything special. He just walks with God. And I don't know what it looks like for me to grieve my circumstances, or to be there for my family, or to lead well. But I know that the only way for me to make certain that I am being who Jesus has called me to be and doing what Jesus has called me to do is if I'm walking with Jesus. It's my only saving grace. It's the only thing that keeps me standing, and it's the only thing that makes life worth living for me. Noah walks with God, and it's through Noah that mankind is redeemed.
Light, glorious light, I will go where you shine.